Just FYI, the recording from yesterday's class did not work. I'm not sure why. Looks like it's working today. So yesterday's class won't be posted on YouTube. All right, today I want to review a little bit about choosing good sources. And you guys have been doing a pretty good job from what I'm seeing on your annotated bibliographies. But how do you know if you have a legitimate source that you can use for a research paper? What qualities does it have? Let's review that. Somebody throw something out there. What are the qualities of a good source for a research paper? This is one of the questions I'm going to ask you on the final. Up-to-date information. Thank you, Brandon. Yes. So it's current. So if you're writing about immigration policy, it can't be an article from the 60s because obviously it's obsolete. What else? It's current. It cites other sources, like, so it shows where its information came from. Yeah, so it could serve as a guide to other sources. Shows where its information came from. So you know it's based on good info because you can trace back the info that they've used, right? What about the author? Statistics, like verifiable ones, yeah. It has, basically it has evidence, right? So that could be statistics, it could be verified experts, right? But basically, instead of just giving you an argument, it shows you where the evidence came from, kind of like you guys are doing in the research, or exactly like you guys are doing in the research paper, right? You're showing the evidence that supports the view that you have come to about your topic. The author has to have some credibility. And a lack of bias. Now, that doesn't mean that something can't be written. It might be a little bit biased, but they have to disclose. If they work for the pharmaceutical company for the drug they're recommending, that has to be disclosed. If it's not, then that's shady. So the agenda of the publication can be to persuade you to their viewpoint, but they have to disclose everything that could influence them. You know, if they have a financial motive to support something, they have to let you know that because it could color your view of their ethos, right? Of how much you trust what they're saying. So it's timely, the author is credible, perhaps they're an expert exactly on the subject, not on something adjacent to the subject, right? They don't have hidden motives like propaganda or financial, right? The publication, same thing. They can't have a hidden agenda or a secret funding from the oil industry if their position paper supports, bailing out the oil industry or something like that. They have to disclose all of their connections, okay? And they have to show where their evidence came from, right? Support it with legitimate sources and evidence, okay? So what I'd like you guys to do is to find a bad source. You're doing pretty well finding the good sources, but find a bad source related to your research paper topic, paste it in here so that we can all look at it, and we'll talk about what makes it a questionable source, okay? So, find a questionable source related to your research topic and be able to explain why it's questionable. So, places to look besides Google, okay? Check websites like Snopes or factcheck.org for articles that they've already debunked related to your topic. So you can search them and see if there are topics on there. They'll usually tell you. Some of them, the articles are fact-checked and do turn out to be legit. So find an article that's questionable or false that you can share with us. And as soon as you find it, come and type it into the chat and we'll take a look at it. Okay. So go and locate a questionable source for your research topic so we can look at the bad sources. They also might use a logical fallacy, right? Some of the logical fallacies we talked about, if they're using those like name calling, that qualifies. Hasty generalization, going to be lots of those out there that don't have legitimate arguments because they base it on too few examples. Okay. So as soon as you have one, type it in the chat. No, you can use Google. I said besides, like, in addition to is what I meant. Okay, let's take a look. Actually, I have a question about this. Matt, can you share your screen? Does it give you permission to do that? I'm wondering, so you're on your phone? Okay, never mind then. I'm wondering for your PowerPoints for the oral presentation, if it'll let you do that. All right, then I will share mine. 1 second. Okay. So Matt's research paper is on the best Spider-Man version. Okay. So Matt, why is this a questionable source? Okay, so they don't have any evidence. All opinion that's subjective, right? Yes, this is true. Anything that has individual opinions, unless that person can verify their expertise, there's nothing wrong with having an opinion on something as long as you can back it up with evidence. But by yourself, generally, you're not considered enough of an authority unless you have a expertise in that area or study. Yeah. So they're not basing it on things that are quantifiable, right? Like box office or things you can measure. Okay. Okay, good. Who else has one? Yeah, I mean, you do want to address the best arguments against you. So if there's kind of a shady argument against you, you want to make sure that you're not just using the weakest arguments they have out there, that you're addressing the real legitimate arguments. But you can sometimes debunk commonly held beliefs as sort of a point to your audience. So if there's something out there that's gotten a lot of traction, even if it's kind of less legitimate, you might want to address it, right? Um, Something that's widely held belief. So address the best opposition. Trying to think of an issue where like something has become widely, well, there's not a lot of evidence that climate change is not actually happening, but still you'll find articles out there and it's a commonly held belief. So that would probably be an example of something you'd still want to address, even though the arguments on the other side are not very well supported. That makes sense? If they're just like really crazy crackpots, then yeah, they're really not worth addressing because most people can tell if they're fanatics or if their opinion's not very well supported. But if there's something that's, yeah, gaining traction like the anti, you know, climate change, then yeah, you probably want to address it. Good question. Anyone else find anything on Snopes or fact check that's kind of shady? Nobody's having any luck. I'll open it up. If you can't find one on your topic, you can just find one as an example of any topic right now. So here's one. The media was accused of recently, Florida opened up some of their beaches, right? So did the news media fake photos of the Jacksonville beaches to make it look like they were crowded and having trouble with social distancing? So if you go down here, it says this is false. Okay. The claim was that the news reports used photographs from different times because they've done that in the past. They've used photographs from a different time period and used them with an article to imply something that wasn't actually happening. Like after 9/11, there were pictures of people in Muslim countries celebrating, which actually weren't taken right after 9/11, or had been taken at other times. Okay. So basically, the claim was proved false. These are verified photographs. Okay. The pictures seen here are correctly represented as the time and place. Okay. They are stored apparently in the database of the Getty Images media company. So they kind of checked it out. They verified that the pictures were true. What are some of the latest ones? That's something good to be aware of, though. Make sure that if they have pictures or illustrations suggesting something, or they'll quote somebody, and the quote will be something totally different, and they'll be applying it to whatever currently is going on in the news and misrepresenting, usually with a politician, what they're saying that their response to something was this when actually it was said years earlier. Here are some common tricks to be on the lookout for. Come on, guys, help me out here. Thanks, Jillian. All right, let's look at this one. So this is kind of split 50-50. Should PE be removed from schools? Okay, Julian, what's wrong with this one? Okay, so it's all opinions, yes. Okay, thanks, Mary. Let's look at the chart for the masks. I saw that on there. I was wondering, is it accurate? What's wrong with the chart? So they have some made up percentages, right? The percentages displayed in the chart can't be accurate because no scientific consensus exists on the efficiency of the home mask stopping COVID. Yeah, because they haven't studied it yet, right? I mean, they can guess, but they don't know for sure what the statistical evidence would be. So yeah, anytime they're using statistics, you have to ask, where did the statistics come from? Sometimes they can come from a study that they've done, but there are lots of ways to manipulate those things. If I'm a member of Greenpeace and I put out a survey that says 99% of us want to recycle, but the people I surveyed are the membership of Greenpeace, that's obviously going to skew the results of the survey, right? So sometimes you have to look at what are the surveys based on, or do you believe in the vicious killing? Not the viscous. All right, so horrible, and I can't type vicious today. Dolphins while harvesting tuna. Well, that's a leading question, right? Obviously, it's baked in there what they want your answer to be, right? What do they want you to answer? Yes, I believe in horribly killing those dolphins, or no, I don't believe in horribly killing the dolphins. So you also have to be questionable, make sure that it's a legitimate pollster or survey source. Sometimes organizations don't always do a good job with the surveys. Your surveys should be framed in a way that the questions asked give people a chance to express their genuine opinions instead of suggesting the opinion they should have, right? Let's get one more in and then we'll get the rest of them tomorrow. Somebody give me one more questionable source. Here's one that I was talking about where they either take the words from a different topic they were talking about, or in this case, they take them out of context. Okay. So they took her words from an interview on the Paycheck Protection Program that they're enacting to help people during the pandemic. It said she wanted to open this up to many more people, specifically people that underbanked, people who don't have bank accounts. But then they put it in a video that seems to suggest they asked for $250 billion in 48 hours. I said, well, I don't think so. So instead, they're implying that, the Republicans asked for money and she said, no, I don't think that's a good idea. Just arbitrarily, instead of because it doesn't fulfill some of the things that she's looking for. Okay. So basically, they took it out of context in the video. All right, if you did not share one today, make sure that you bring one for tomorrow. So I think Ryan, Caleb, Justin, Emma, who else? Brandon? Bring in a bad source so we can discuss what's wrong with it tomorrow. Does anybody have any questions about what's going on the rest of the week or next week when things are due? Tomorrow, be sure we're going to check out everybody's tech capabilities to make sure you can share audio and video. And we're going to play some Jeopardy together. So make sure that you're on a device that you can try out your audio and video that you're going to use for your oral presentation next week. Okay. I'll be online in a few hours. I have a couple appointments in the writing center, so it may take me a bit to get back to you. But otherwise, email me if you have any questions. Okay. Otherwise, I will see you guys tomorrow.